Hello. Today I'm going to talk about the merge sort. Merge sort is one of the many sorting techniques that were developed for computer programming. It's similar to quicksort in a way that it uses the divide and conquer strategy. That's going to take your list and divide it up into smaller lists, and then sort them after that. Now, how it works for merge sort is that it's going to keep dividing lists into smaller lists until all the sub-lists that you created only have one element. Once you've done, so you're going to keep dividing everything in the list until everything is individual. Then you start merging the sublists, two lists at a time, by comparing the first element in the list that you currently have, until you combine them both into a larger sorted list. Now you repeat step 2, again, comparing each two lists that you have. And you keep going, combining them into larger and larger lists until you come up with a list with all the original elements that you had at the beginning. So I'm going to show you an example here. We have this array here in front of us, and we're going to sort it with the merge sort. How do you start? Split up all the individual units. Okay. So if we split them up in the middle, you have to split them up in the middle as you go along, and we're going to combine them again at the middle. So we're going to start by splitting it up in the middle. So now we have 4 elements on the left side and 5 on the right side. Notice that we have a total odd number of elements in this total array. So that's why we have a different number of elements on each side. Generally, you would have one more element on the right than you would on the left in this case. But that's not necessary, it depends how you code it. So we keep dividing again. Now we have 4 different lists. But they're not individual yet, so we have to keep dividing them. And at the end there, you still have one list with 2 elements, so you have to divide that again. Okay, now everything has been divided. Now you have to combine the 2 lists together at a time and sort them. Remember that you should combine them in the same order that you divided them in to begin with. So now if we look again at these individual lists that we have, you would combine the second one, the first 2 that you have there, you would compare them together and then combine them into a new list that has been sorted. So 5 is less than 6, so you would put 5 first and then 6. So then you would look at the next 2, 3 and 1. 1 is less than 3, so you put 1 and then 3. And you keep doing this for all the lists. Notice the last one I did there. That I compared the last 2 instead of using the number 2. I compared 4 and 9. Because you have to combine them in the order that you originally did, split them. So now we have these different lists. Now you have to merge the list by comparing the first element in each list, now that each list has at least 1 or more elements. So I'm going to first take care of the last list we have in the back there because that's a little weird. So if you compared the 2 and the 4, the 2 was less than 4, so the 2 would go first. Then you could, in this case, you could just put everything else right after it. Okay, so now we have to compare we have 4 lists, now we have to compare the first 2 lists together and then the next 2 lists together. So if you compare the 1 and the 5, the 1 is less than 5, so you put the 1 first into a new list. Now the 1 would be taken out of that previous list. And now 3 would be the first element in that list now. So you would compare the 3 and the 5. Well, the 3 is less than 5, so the 3 would go next. Okay, now you would compare the 2 lists again. Now one of the lists is completely empty, so you could just start putting all the elements in the first list. So you would put 5 first, and then 6. Okay, now we're going to do the same for the next 2 lists. You would compare the 2 and the 7. 2 is less than 7, so you would put the 2 in the new list first. And then you would compare 7 and 4. 4 is less than 7, so you would put 4 next into the new list. Then you would compare 7 and 9. 7 is less than 9, so you would put 7 first. Then you would compare 8 and 9. 8 is less than 9, so you would put 8 first. And then 9 is all that's left, you would put 9. Very good, so now we only have 2 lists left, but we want one large combined list with everything in it. So we have to compare these 2 larger lists now in the same manner, and make a larger list with it. So you would compare the 1 and the 2, because those are the 2 first elements in the new list that we have. 1 is less than 2, so you would put 1 first in your new list. And then 2, and then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that is your new sorted list that we got from using merge sort. Here's some of the pseudocode that you could use to use merge sort. This function, really all it does is that it splits up the list. So you can see here, it's deciding where the middle of the list is, and it's dividing. It's taking everything from the left side and adding it to a new array called the left. And here it's taking everything on the right side and adding it to a new array called the right. And then at the end here, it's asking us to use recursion to divide those even further. And at the very end, it's saying merge. We're going to use a function called merge that will merge the 2 lists that are saved in this specific instance of the function. And it's going to merge them in order the same way we were looking at before. And this is the function called merge. So it says as long as there's something within one of the 2 arrays that you're comparing, you're going to compare the first element of each array, and you're going to add them to a new list based on that. Otherwise, if one of the lists is already empty, then you would start adding elements from the other list that still has something based on that. Interesting fact, other sorts could be faster than this. The reason that this sort is effective at all is because it's only comparing 2 elements at a time. The first elements of the 2 arrays that you're looking at that time, which is a little bit faster than some other sorts. The heap sort, which you could find in another video, is generally faster, but merge sort is usually a better choice when you're sorting something like a linked list. You can do further research to decide what the efficiency is. And that is how the merge sort works. I hope you learned something today. Thank you for watching.